Quarterbacks get the spotlight, but defense has shaped some of the most unforgettable moments in NFL history. Across decades, legends have emerged who didn't just slow offenses down, they crushed them. These were the enforcers, the tacticians, the ones who made wide receivers think twice and quarterbacks lose sleep. From lockdown corners to ruthless linebackers and unstoppable pass rushers, every position has had its share of greatness. But when the dust settles, who stands above the rest? Which names have truly defined what it means to dominate on defense? Here's a look at the greatest defensive players at each position, the ones who set the standard and changed the game. Right cornerback, Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders wasn't just fast, he made the field feel shorter for opposing quarterbacks. In an era packed with elite wide receivers, Sanders shut down one side of the field with ease. Offenses knew the risk of throwing his way, and most avoided it altogether. He finished with 53 interceptions and 1,331 return yards, second most in NFL history at the time. But it wasn't just the numbers that told the story. In 1994, Sanders became the first player with two 90-yard interception returns for touchdowns in a single season. That same year, he tied the single-season record with 3 pick sixes and earned Defensive Player of the Year honors. Across his career, he returned 9 interceptions for touchdowns, tying him for second all-time. Sanders collected 8 Pro Bowl nods and 6 first-team All-Pro selections, while being a crucial piece on 2 Super Bowl winning defenses. His impact defined the 90s, earning him a spot on the All-Decade team. When it came to shutting down an entire half of the field, no one did it like Deion Sanders. Left cornerback, Rod Woodson. Rod Woodson was a rare blend of durability, instinct, and range. Starting as a premier cornerback and later transitioning to safety, his production didn't drop, it evolved. Over 17 seasons, Woodson collected 71 interceptions, 13.5 sacks, and a staggering 1,158 tackles, proving he could cover, hit, and lead. His versatility made him a nightmare for opposing offenses. In 1993, he was named Defensive Player of the Year, and across his career, he led the league in interceptions twice. Even in his late 30s, he wasn't slowing down. At 37, he grabbed 8 interceptions, leading the league, while starting at safety. Woodson also holds the NFL record for most interceptions returned for touchdowns with 12. He recovered 32 fumbles, another league record, and ranks second in interception return yards with 1,483. A key player on the historic 2000 Ravens defense, Woodson helped anchor a unit that allowed the fewest points in a 16-game season and marched to a Super Bowl title. Free safety, Ronnie Lott. Ronnie Lott played with intensity that left a lasting mark on every offense he faced. His 14-year career is loaded with accolades, 10 Pro Bowls, 6 first-team All-Pro selections, and places on both the 1980s and 1990s All-Decade teams. But numbers only tell part of the story. Lott was the heartbeat of the 49ers defense during their dominant stretch in the 80s. His leadership helped deliver 4 Super Bowl titles to San Francisco. With 63 interceptions, 1,146 tackles, and a knack for showing up in the biggest moments, Lott made his presence felt in every game. In 20 career playoff games, he added 9 interceptions and 89 tackles. He forced fumbles, recovered them, and even found the end zone. Lott's physicality, vision, and leadership changed what teams expected from a safety. Strong safety, Ed Reed. Ed Reed studied quarterbacks like few ever had. Every movement, every habit, every angle was part of a larger chessboard in Reed's mind. He intercepted 64 passes, returned 7 of them for touchdowns, and racked up more interception return yards than anyone in league history. In 2004, he won Defensive Player of the Year. The same season, he had a league-leading 9 picks and scored twice. In the postseason, he tied the all-time record with 9 interceptions and always seemed to deliver when the stakes were highest. Coaches and players alike couldn't stop praising him. Bill Belichick once told him he was the best free safety he'd ever seen. Reed's instincts weren't teachable. They were built through tireless study and unmatched football IQ. He gave Baltimore its edge on defense for over a decade, and his place among the all-time greats is unquestioned. Right outside linebacker, Lawrence Taylor. Lawrence Taylor didn't fit into schemes. Schemes were built to try to stop him. Offensive coordinators lost sleep figuring out how to deal with the chaos he caused off the edge. Double teams weren't enough. Taylor forced the NFL to adjust its entire approach to blocking assignments. In 1986, he led the league with 20.5 sacks and won the NFL MVP, a feat no defensive player has accomplished since. Over 13 seasons, Taylor racked up 142 sacks with 132.5 officially recognized, setting the standard for what it meant to be a dominant edge rusher. A two-time Super Bowl champion, Taylor earned 10 straight Pro Bowl selections and 8 first-team All-Pro honors. He won Defensive Player of the Year 3 times in his first 6 seasons, tied for the most ever. With 124 sacks in his first 10 years, his production was relentless. Left outside linebacker, Derek Thomas. Derek Thomas exploded into the NFL in 1989 and immediately became one of the league's most dangerous pass rushers. His speed off the line was unmatched, and his burst around the edge made every snap a potential disaster for opposing quarterbacks. Thomas racked up 126.5 career sacks in just 11 seasons, including an NFL record 7 in a single game, a mark that still stands. He was named to 9 Pro Bowls and earned All-Pro honors 6 times. His impact wasn't limited to stats. He energized the Chiefs' defense and gave Kansas City an identity. His life and career were tragically cut short at 33 after complications from a car accident. But even in that shortened span, Thomas did enough to be enshrined in the Hall of Fame in 2009. If not for that untimely loss, his numbers might have pushed even higher, but his greatness was already cemented. He wasn't around nearly long enough, but his legacy remains as fierce as ever. Middle linebacker, Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis was the driving force behind Baltimore's defensive identity. No other player at his position has matched his mix of production, leadership, and longevity. He's the only player in NFL history with at least 40 sacks and 30 interceptions, and his 50 career takeaways rank second among linebackers since the AFL-NFL merger. But stats only scratch the surface. In 2000, Lewis led one of the most dominant defensive units the league has ever seen. That Ravens squad allowed just 165 points all season, a 16-game record, and shut out opponents 4 times. They also gave up under 1,000 rushing yards, another league-best mark. Lewis didn't just command that defense, he fueled it with every hit, every read, every play. He capped the season by winning Super Bowl MVP. A 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, Lewis racked up 2,059 combined tackles, the most in NFL history, and led the league in tackles 3 times. He ranks second in solo tackles with 1,568. Only 15 players have been selected to 12 or more Pro Bowls, and Lewis is among them. With 7 first-team All-Pro honors and a record 10 total All-Pro selections for an inside linebacker, his place among the all-time greats is secure. There's a reason he's considered the gold standard for the middle linebacker position. Right defensive end, Bruce Smith. Bruce Smith turned the edge into a war zone for quarterbacks. With 200 career sacks, he still holds the NFL record, a mark that has stood untouched and may never fall. Smith wasn't just a pass rusher, he was a consistent, dominant force, recording double-digit sacks in 13 different seasons, more than anyone in league history. Despite spending most of his career in a 3-4 scheme, where defensive ends are often expected to occupy blockers, Smith still racked up elite production. He was versatile across the line and disruptive from every angle. His ability to overwhelm tackles, force fumbles, and shift momentum was unmatched. An 8-time first-team All-Pro and 11-time Pro Bowler, Smith anchored Buffalo's defense throughout the 80s and 90s and earned spots on both all-decade teams. Left defensive end, Reggie White. Reggie White made dominance look effortless. Known as the Minister of Defense, White bulldozed his way through offensive lines, finishing his career with 198 sacks, the second most all-time only behind Bruce Smith. For 9 straight seasons to start his career, he posted double-digit sack totals, a record still standing today. White earned 8 first-team All-Pro selections and made the Pro Bowl in 13 of his 15 seasons. He won Defensive Player of the Year twice, led the league in sacks twice, and remains one of only 2 players to record 13 or more sacks in 4 straight seasons. His 145 sacks over his first 10 seasons is still the highest mark ever, and no player has recorded more sacks after 6 seasons than White. He made both the 1980s and 1990s All-Decade teams and holds the NFL's all-time record for sacks per game at 0.85 among players with at least 100 games. Defensive tackle, Arron Donald. Few players have reshaped a position the way Arron Donald has. Despite retiring after just 10 seasons, his impact ranks with the greatest defenders in league history. Donald earned 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards, tying Lawrence Taylor and J.J. Watt for the most ever, and he was named first-team All-Pro 8 times, more than any defensive tackle in history. Donald wasn't just effective, he was surgical. He finished with 111 career sacks, the most ever for a defensive tackle after 10 seasons. His 176 tackles for loss lead all players in that span, and his 260 quarterback hits trail only one player all time. He made the Pro Bowl every year of his career, matching Taylor's record for most consecutive selections to start a career. He also delivered when it mattered most, with 6 sacks and 17 quarterback hits across 11 playoff games, including a critical role in the Rams' Super Bowl 56 win. Defensive tackle, John Randle. John Randle wasn't built like a traditional defensive tackle, but that didn't matter. His speed, leverage, and relentless energy made him a nightmare for offensive linemen. Over 14 seasons, mostly with the Vikings, Randle racked up 137.5 sacks, which still ranks 6th in NFL history and first among defensive tackles. Randle brought pressure up the middle in a way few ever have. His bull rush was powerful, but his quickness off the snap separated him from the rest. He notched double-digit sack totals in 8 different seasons, maintaining production that most edge rushers couldn't match. A 7-time Pro Bowl selection and 6-time All-Pro, Randle's consistency and explosiveness helped define Minnesota's defensive front through the 90s. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2010, and his sack total still stands as the benchmark for interior defensive linemen.